Hey, what's up? It's your boy Henry back again with another songwriting and production analysis video. This time we will be taking a look at Biffy Clyro's album, A Celebration of Endings. More specifically, we're gonna take a look into the chorus and the chord progressions. And few things to take away from this video would be how they use non-repeating chord progressions in the choruses, how they use syncopations, and how they use unconventional time signatures. And so, without further ado, let's get into details. So, Biffy Clyro is a Scottish rock band mostly known by its songs like and
"'Cause I would never break your heart, I would only rearrange all the other."
But for some also by parts like and alright, maybe not known by the last one, but this part definitely exists in their catalog. So they have been around quite a bit. Their first album was released in 2002, and since then they have released 9 studio albums, 7 B-side albums, 3 live albums, 1 soundtrack and 6 EPs. Pretty cool thing is about those B-sides that each album cycle they release basically 2 albums. One is the main album, and then after a year or so another album comes out. They don't promote it as much, but for those super fans this is really valuable content, and the quality of songs are basically the same. When taking a look to the last 2 albums, then for me the very last album, A Myth for the Happily Ever After, is kind of a B-side album for the album we're gonna review today. But they have been promoting it as a separate release, so you know, it's up to them. But anyway, Biffy Clyro is the band who is constantly releasing so much songs, you know, over 100 songs in their catalog, maybe even 200, I haven't counted, but definitely like a band who has this creative juice to put out songs after songs after songs, and that is great for a listener who really digs their music. I have been a fan since mid-2000s when I started playing in my first band called Slippery Slope.
Emotionless faces, making wrong choices.
These 3 Scottish gentlemen have inspired me throughout my career, and their choruses have only become more epic, more bigger, more catchy. Biffy for me is that kind of alternative band who is in the very sweet spot of edgy music and pop music. Like next to their crazy, almost breakdown-ish riffs, they have those ear candy melodies, and I personally enjoy both sides of the world, so they are a nice combination of music I like. And in this video I am focusing on their choruses and especially chord progressions, so let's see what we can learn from that. One of the biggest things to notice for me is that Biffy never sticks with one chord progression throughout their choruses. There are only 2 songs, Instant History and The Pink Limit, which just stay on the same chord progression during the whole chorus. Space is somewhat in the middle. It's the same chord progression, but as the chorus starts, it doesn't start from the beginning, so then again it's a switch and kind of makes it a bit different than just repeating one chorus chord progression. Take a look, for example, the song End Of, which is basically all the different chords you can play in one key. They only leave out the second chord. But if they're not repeating, then what is there to take away from what they are doing? One thing that they are doing is they are changing the last chord of the progression when coming to it in the second time. Take a look at Cop Zero, for example. Check the 4th bar, the last chord gets switched. First time it includes 2 chords during the cycle, and second time it goes to a dominant 5 chord. Indoor Fireworks, same thing, last chord is switched. Second time we're going to chord 6 rather than 1. And this creates like more tension. Feel that the chord number 6 doesn't feel that much home, and therefore it's a good transitional chord leading you into the next section. Worst type of Best Possible, for example, has a 3rd chord switched, not the 4th chord. So this is also possible, and this creates like a very nice variety also. And North of No South is also changing the last chord, but they add also like a 4th chorus cycle, which is like completely different one, and maybe more as a transition part itself rather than a part of the chorus. Is there any particular chord progression to bring out? Well, not really. What I actually wanted to do is have those songs listed out and write popular pop songs next to it, which use the same chord progression. But that was a very heavy assignment. Some songs were easy to find, but most of them have this kind of chord progressions that are really unusual in pop music, at least. And I think that makes it a very special band for me. I think it's good for both sides of audience. The pop side of listener who wants like this ear candy and catchy melodies, you got it. But also for the alternative listener who doesn't want again to hear this repeated, very well done, very many times done chord progressions and same formulas all over again. Biffy is keeping it really fresh, and I think this is very good for them, looking from the eyes of both sides. And as a bonus, I will be adding a link to download where you can get the PDFs from all the information you are seeing on the screen, plus a MIDI file which includes the chord progressions and rhythms for all of the songs. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to say thanks, then you can do that by subscribing and turning the notification bell on. Rhythms are definitely a thing which Biffy is famous for. They use very weird non-repeating rhythms in the intros, in the interludes, sort of breakdownish parts as well, but rhythms are also used in choruses quite a bit. There are riff-based choruses, totally, like in North of No South, but when taking a look further, then a straightforward 8 notes are not that common in Biffy's repertoire. Next to me you can see the rhythms in the choruses, how guitars are played, and I'm not gonna stay here quite long, but take it as a template. Maybe it helps you rearrange some stuff, make your next chorus a bit interesting when you write it, not just staying straight 8 notes or 16 notes. Nothing bad with that, but sometimes some variety is good. And a great example of that variety is, for example, the Pink Limit, where the rhythm goes something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 da 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 da. So this is much more interesting than just playing straight notes. Biffy does it a lot. They are a rhythmic band. If that suits you, great, use it. You don't, so do whatever makes you happy. Very close thing that is connected to rhythm as well is time signatures. Biffy plays a lot 4/4 and occasional 3/4. They have also used 7/4 and 7/8 time signature in a lot of their songs. One of my favorite songs, Victory Over the Sun, uses it, and there are also some songs in this album. For example, Weird Leisure's chorus is also written in 7/4. And while the rhythm stays straight on 1, 3 and 6, this elevates the song for me really much. It sort of brings the urgency in when the chorus hits, especially that the verses are on 4/4, so they basically cut this final one beat from the bar, and this is a very nice change. They use 7/4 also in North of No South and Tiny Indoor Fireworks. But I think again what to take from it is that they use mixed time signatures a lot. Total 5 songs out of 10 are using more than one throughout the song. So this is also like a very nice idea how to make the song more interesting, how to bring in some different breathing, some different rhythms and some different energy. And they do it in a way that isn't prog rock or feels super complicated. How they do it is that it feels very natural and really flows into the song. I love Biffy and I have loved them for a very long time. A little bit lost interest in Ellipses when maybe it got too pop or too soft for me, but with the last 2 albums they are really hitting the sweet spot. They are both interesting and heavy for me as a metal musician, but they're also really pop and have really catchy melodies, which are also interesting for me as I'm writing all of that stuff too. Let me enjoy the video and the analysis. What was the best part, what you didn't like? Should I do more analysis like this, or should I look songs from another angle? And maybe there's a special song or album you definitely want me to review, so hit me up and see you on the next one. Peace!